We're ready? Okay, we'll start with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, today we have a very clear agenda with just one item. That's the Leadership Marion County group. Welcome. Let's start with introducing the commissioners and tell you a little bit about ourselves.
Commissioner Randy Dahlke, 3rd District down south. Been here a while. I've enjoyed every year of being a commissioner that I've had so far in my terms. I was a natural gas person for Marion County for 35 years with Atmos Energy. Retired last year, a year and 3 months ago, and then this happened to me, you know. Had shaved every day of my life before that, decided to do something different. And really starting to relax and realize that life is, there's a lot of important things in life. And so that's my wife. We've raised 2 children in our lifetime. One of them's passed on, my son. And you know, we've had a good life together at 51 years. So thank you. Glad you're here. Glad you're doing what you're doing.
Dave Crofton, 4th District, which includes Marion and Florence, and from there, most of the area. I've been here 4 or 5 years now.
We've ran 3 times. We've been here we've been here just a little over 1 term.
4 years, yeah. In the beginning, when they went to 5, we had to mess with the cycle.
Yeah, so they had to run initially or be appointed, and then they had to run at the next election to get back on the off cycle, and then they finally got to run for a full term.
So
in
only
the
a
first
year into
year,
that. So we're only at 4 years, which is 1 term, and we've ran 3 times.
And the way it's divided, we used to be 3, 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 3 run together, and then, or no, 2 and 3 run together, and then 1. And now it's 1. Let's see, what is it? Number 3?
It's
every 2 years somebody runs.
Yeah, it's every 2 years, but it's you and I now. So 2 and 3, and these 3 are together.
So it's 1, 4, and 5.
1, 4, 5, and 2 and 3 is together, and you're every 2 years.
So we can never replace you all at once, is what you're saying?
No,
Okay.
well, you could if something happened to us.
Yeah, well,
You
it
could,
have
yes.
special circumstances.
Right, but it's off balance. That's what it's for.
But I volunteered to do this, kind of to give back to the community, because I've worked, I think, about 50 years at Western Associates. I've got to figuring up the other day. I haven't retired yet, but I'm kind of stepping away a little bit. And my son, the 3rd generation, is involved in the company now, so I've got a replacement working on. But you know how young kids are. We're still in training. I haven't walked away yet. I enjoy doing this, trying to help the county, and when I started, I did not have an agenda. You know, sometimes people run for office because they want to change something. I didn't want to change anything. I just wanted to make it all work better together. And I feel that we have a great team now working, we're all moving in the same direction. We don't all agree all the time, but when we leave here at the end of the day, we're still in the same team. And I think what it takes to make the county work, because it's a big machine. And this is my speech for the day. Don't forget to vote this year. I'm not running, so.
Yeah, it's not on the ballot.
Keep going, Dave. Kent Becker, 1st District, which is the western part of the county, and Hillsborough, Washington Street on east. Started on the commission in 2016 by appointment, and now in my 2nd elected term. Retired banking, was in banking 39 years, and I still serve on Vintage Bank Board out of Wichita. Married, wife Ginger, 51 years, 2 sons, 4 grandkids. I can kind of relate to what Dave said. Always felt like I needed to give back to the county. Made my living here all my life. And like I said, come in with no agenda, especially by appointment, which was what I thought was going to be about 2 years about a year and a half on the commission, and that's when I decided to continue to serve. So it's been an honor, and appreciate everyone's support.
Yeah, I've been married 40 years too.
Yeah, we always
That's a contest.
We gotta-
41 one of the 3 years.
I got that on camera.
Okay, that's good. I'll tell her to watch.
Got it right. All right.
Yes.
Jonah Gehring, District 5, so I have Minnow Township and West Branch, which is Gossel and north to 190th, and then I have half of Hillsborough, so it'd be west of Washington Street, and electrician, dabble on a few other things. I've got some oil leases, I've got some pasture grounds, I got some rental properties. I didn't have much of an agenda when I ran. However, I did want to see the county with an administrator, so it was one of my key points. The other one, major one, was to calm the waters, because if any of you remember, it was in the newspaper pretty often, and when I came along, and I did get some validation from some of our budget authority people that things had improved where I took the seat, so a lot of things chilled out a bit, and we did start moving in the right direction. There were some still moments that made the newspaper, but I've been married for 23 years. I got married right out of high school. We have one daughter, and we're getting ready to go tomorrow to go look at Fort Hays. So, no, I really do just want to do what's right for the county. I've got no real personal agendas. I want to make sure that all our decisions are educated and we move forward in the best interest of all citizens, because I'm one of them, and I have to pay the same taxes as everybody else. So.
Thank you, Ashley. Dave Mueller.
That was the same as a drum roll.
That's what I was like, is that the
Oh,
mic
very
drop?
nice.
Here comes the chair.
So I'm the newest. I came on in 2021, so 2.5 years. And that's part of why I handed out those little cards, because on the back it has the districts, because it's really hard to explain them in person, but if you can see the map, it's a little easier.
It's by population.
Yeah, so every district has approximately the same population. But when they went from 3 to 5, they had a real challenge trying to come out, how do you balance it? How do you not overrepresent one community over another? I mean, I have to hand it to them coming up with a solution. It does seem kind of odd. So I've got all of the North County and the east of the county, and then I've got half of Marion on the north side of Main Street. So, but yeah, it works well. It's been kind of interesting because I've got a lot of rural area to cover and represent. Follow up on agendas. I guess I kind of did have an agenda. Randy had actually asked me to run several times, and I always said no, not just no. Something else, no, no way. But
He was in here quite a bit sitting on that side
I
of
was
the
on that
table.
side.
He even brought a bucket this big around in here with cold blacktop pieces to set here so we could see what the chuck holes had done put out. That was that man right there.
yeah,
So,
we had some real road problems, and I handed it to the commission at the time. They made some big investments in our community up there where we have a lot of industrial use, and they paid off. I mean, what the commission did at that time paid off. So I'll roll that into what we've been able to do in the last 2 years on paved roads. I think is nothing short of amazing. You'll never read about it. You'll never hear about it. But we've made some incredible long-term improvements on paved roads in Marion County. And if you look around, you'll start most people, well, you know, it just goes, but well, there's always worse things that need to be fixed. There's still the pothole in front of my house. The Indigo Road, south of Hillsboro, the Kansas, by the Hoop Building, heavy industrial use. Marion County poured the first concrete roads we've ever poured. And those will last. And that heavy traffic then will save thousands of hours of maintenance that can be done in other areas of the county. We set a priority to do the highest traveled roads first. Indigo is the highest traveled road in the county, so we tackled that first. Marion, Hillsboro route, we were able to do with microsurfacing, kind of new for rural counties, but it's been done in the cities, and that's worked well. So we're doing 40 miles of microsurface this year, and we have 200 miles of paved roads, 900 miles altogether. That's a lot to tackle. So, you know, we're working our way up the list on priority of roads and trying to make improvements. As you've seen from your tour list today, probably the second most astounding thing of coming into the commission is just how many different departments there are. You know, you come in and you go from the jail to elections to appraiser to transfer station, well, and roads. Every 15 minutes, you know, we roll through another topic. We got to come up. We get reports. We try to come up with a solution. What can we do? How do we handle it? What comes next? Road department does take up about a third of our budget, so it's very significant. Not quite a third of the employees. Maybe a fifth. Well, it's up there pretty close. But roads are a priority for our county. Infrastructure, safety number one, and our roads are a very, very important part of safety and a very, very important part of economic development or commerce. We're still a rural county. But it's a huge undertaking. It's just really real undertaking. One of our biggest struggles over the last, fortunately I wasn't here for COVID, which these guys went through. And that was, I can't imagine the struggle that entailed. But then coming in post-COVID, it's a matter of inflation, because all of our materials have gone up 10%. And then wages, trying to keep people. We have some of the best, I put up some of our employees against anybody, anywhere. We've got some awesome elected and department leaders, but we gotta keep them. And we're really struggling with competition from the private sector because we have to balance it. And that's part of the discussions we have here. We have a broad range of opinions on this commission. And it represents taxpayers. A lot of taxpayers want that tax levy as low as possible. They don't care what services you gotta cut, as long as it's not theirs. And then you've got others that, you know, we need to be making investments and looking long-term. And that long-term investment will then save the taxpayers down the road. So those are some of the discussions that, you know, we try to work through and try to do what's best for the county. And I know I talked to them. This is your chance now to ask questions. So let's turn it over to you for questions that you have. Yep.
How many miles of dirt? How many miles of rock? How many miles? It's impressive.
Yeah, it's total of 900 miles, 200 to paved. I think it's 500 to gravel, which would leave that's right, 2 or 3 dirt.
So to travel every road in the county, you could travel several states.
Yeah.
And most people don't understand that.
And our section men, we've cut back to 11 section men. Well, they've got a huge number of miles to cover.
What is that, Dave, when you say section men? I don't understand the term.
The county's divided up into sections, and that grader, or we call him a section man, then he's responsible for grading the dirt and the gravel roads, maintaining those.
It's bigger than a township.
Yeah, that's what it used to be each township. Well, obviously, there's way more than one
There's
township.
some overlap.
So when Warren Dalkey used to come down Goldenrod, when I lived at 160th, and he was laying gravel or scooting gravel, he was a
section man.
And that was years ago, but I just.
Yes.
So when you enter in a position like this, usually there's a huge learning curve because everyone thinks they know everything until you're sitting there and then you're like, oh, there's just a lot I gotta know. What was the most beneficial thing in helping you get to the point that you're at and kind of understanding how to fulfill your role that you kind of learned as you went? What was kind of something beneficial to learn how to do your role better?
And would you also tell them your name?
Tim Boxa.
Sorry, I should have had the class meeting.
Sorry, Tim Boxa. I live in Marion. I didn't know who you were.
I'll
Say it loud.
I'll say, for me, it was, before I came here, I was on city council. And city
Which city?
council,
Which city?
Hillsborough. And, budget was huge. You can have a business, but your business has one avenue. When you deal with a county budget or a public budget, you're dealing with 30 companies. And you're trying to fit that all in and make that work and all them numbers. And then there's little things that are in government that'll throw you curveballs, like the mill levy, right? But then that changes every year in value. It's a minor thing, but a lot of people, other than their own household budget, they don't realize how expansive this is. And you're dealing with a lot of dollars, and you gotta try to make things fit, because that should afford you a lot of things, but it doesn't stretch like it should. That's one of the things I guess I could.
I think the most important thing you can have in any position, whether it's city, county, state, you gotta have the ability to listen. Because you're gonna have a diverse group of opinions. And you need to listen, be able to listen to all of those, even though there's gonna be some of those you're not gonna agree with. But if you don't have any listening skills, you should not take an office.
State your question again.
We all don't understand everything when you enter in a position like you're in as a county commissioner. What was some resources or something that you found beneficial to learning how to do your position better? That was my whole.
Sorry, I
No,
do the
you're
resource
yeah.
part.
No.
I can point out some resources. But
Yeah, like how do you do this as a good one?
My biggest resource is sitting right there.
Yeah.
She's kept us straight and guided us in the right direction so we can make an informed decision. And I
Plus,
guess
we belong to the Kansas County Association of Counties, and they afford lots and lots of educational programs that, can help you develop your skills.
it's like Jonah said, private business, where I come from, and government business, two different animals. So I had kind of learned how to do it the government way, which is real slow.
That's too
And you
bad.
can't state that enough.
I can't just bulldoze my way through and get it done, like I'm used to doing in my business.
Yeah.
Because I got 4 other guys here, plus the public out there is watching you in the newspaper. Every time you take a breath, they report it. Sometimes you breathe wrong.
Yeah.
Randy Dalkey mine started 35 years ago. My job took me all over Marion County, north to south. Atmos Energy covers everything except for Burns area and over Lehigh and that area over in that part of the state, yeah, or county.
Might be pointing
And
right
so,
now.
yeah. But anyway, majority of Atmos Energy gas comes right through the middle of Marion, clear to Peabody. We're to the bottom end down here. I didn't have too much over here, but Florence, up through here, and then clear over in this area. So in my travels for the first 10 years through the county, I saw a lot of things in the county that I didn't understand. Well, how's come they get new roads up north? Because I never sat in this meeting in here. I'd never been in here. I should have been in here before I asked those questions. But you ask yourself those questions and then you want to find out why. And so in '99, I moved back into the city of Peabody and decided to become a city, as Jonah, city council member. So I did that, got to be a city council member, and they have the League of Municipalities, which is the same for cities as counties does. I think they're sort of in the same building, even up in Topeka. But same thing, information, and then auditors can be very informational. We have a great one that sits here for Marion County. He's been in this county
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years, yeah. And he can tell you a lot of history. He can tell you what's been done in the past and how they created that. And so I was a city commissioner for 2 years, and then the mayor's position come up. I run for the mayor of the city of Peabody. I got that, and I was still, all this same time, I watch what goes on around our town and our communities. And I call it the county as a community. And I said, you know, we have a position coming up, I will run for that and see if I can, not that I differed from the person that was there, but that person did not know how to listen. You go ask him something, and you could not understand what he was telling you. So that inspired me to come a little farther and take this position and I thought I knew a lot from the 4 to 5 years that I've been in the city and the county, or city prospect. But when I walked into here, and those 30 things that you put in this little business to make, and this is a business, this is not, it is our taxpayers' business. But to put them 30 things in here and make everybody happy, make you happy, make us happy, make the auditors happy. And last of all, Tina.
That was
I would have led it first.
You mean you're gonna try to make me happy, or is there something else?
Well, we don't know.
Are you bringing me some chocolate or something?
Just bring her a cat. She's happy with cats. So anyway, that's resources and learn off of these other people. Bob Hine was for 3rd District. Dan Holland was, him and I both come in for the 2nd District at the same time. So we both had to learn. But we went to schools and things, just like we stepped into the jail problem as the first time I was on commission. We went to a school in Colorado for a week, him and I did, and we thought we learned it all, put it up to the voters. They turned it down, said, no, we don't like what you did. But the same people that you are sitting out here that come in and tell us, no, we don't like what you're doing, and a few of them come right back after they said we're going to vote no, and if it gets turned down, well, because they know the public knew we need to do something for the jail. But those same nays come in and helped us develop a plan that we could put to the county and get a vote on. And that was nice, to hear somebody chew you out one day, but be with you on the next day. After the first vote, we failed, because we was trying to build a 76 bed, and we got a 32 bed with final plan. So listen, work with people, and you don't know it all, and I'll never quit learning, because there's something new comes up every day, every month. Thank you.
We're cutting it pretty close.
Yeah.
One more quick question.
I was gonna ask Lisa Schaefer from Durham. I was gonna ask, it seems to me like younger generations really are not involved and really don't care. They're discouraged and don't feel like they should be involved, or that it won't make sense to them, and if it does, it's just, you know, a bunch of old white guys, I'm sorry to use that terminology, a bunch of old white guys in charge, you know, and so, and that's what they're being taught to a great extent, social media and whatnot. How do you connect with them, or what do you recommend to get them involved and be at meetings and to contribute and ask questions and to understand that this is going to impact them, because probably 60 to 80% of them are staying in the county after school or college or getting a career or whatever. So how do we get them in here and involved with what you're saying? I remember when you ran, and I went from Hillsborough, so I couldn't vote for you. I shared your stuff though on Facebook. But I remember when you ran, and I remember thinking, well, there's a whole generation there that's going to be glad he's running because of your age and your business involvement. Thank you, by the way, because you guys have served us many times. So how do we get young people, you know, I talk to my kids, and they're in their 30s and 20s and 30s. It's really hard to get them encouraged to become involved and see how important that is. So what do we do to reach out to them? Or what do you plan to do to reach out to them?
It's not us at the county level. It begins at the parents, and we missed a whole generation.
I would say 2.
Okay,
Almost.
well, 2.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a grandpa, so yes.
Yeah.
But I think we need to somehow get people involved, and I know I work on all my employees that they're all registered to vote, and I think 80% of them do. But I can't get any of them on a committee yet, but I keep asking. You know, it's just, kinda like Tim got volunteered to be on the city commission, the neighborhood kind of went after him. I'm his neighbor.
Nice to be chased, isn't it?
I think everybody ganged up on him and he finally gave in. I appreciate it, thank you. But I do believe that, like I said, we missed 2 generations.
I tell you, like Lisa said, I think a lot of perception is just as you said, county, the city, whatever's run by a bunch of old white guys. Might be a lady they're involved in too, but I think, you know, we have to be the face of the county to the public, you know, and just by getting out and talking to these people, might even be in a school setting where you go talk to a government class. In the past, I've talked to a couple of government classes. Of course, when my wife was teaching, I was always in there with elementary kids doing something like that, and it's probably good to start that early, you know, because they don't understand any of that. And, you know, being a private citizen myself and taxpayer, you know, you look at government and you say, don't you get anything done? And it is frustrating because there's so many different processes, steps, policies that we have to deal with that, you know, a private citizen doesn't really understand. Well, I can go out and get this done next week when it's taking you guys a year. And, you know, it's kind of education. You gotta educate people, you know, so you gotta be willing to talk to people, be willing to go to meetings, lots of meetings, and, you know, like Dave said, we've got to get this young generation. Like we said, we've probably lost a generation. We've got to get people excited about public service, you know. And I realize it's hard to raise a family nowadays and have any time to do anything.
It took me 29 years to get involved. Graduated in 70, and 99 is when I got involved. But the first 20 years is trying to raise a family, trying to establish some sort of base that someday when I get to be retired, maybe I've got something that I don't have to worry about where my next dollar's coming from. So I don't know how to do it. I mean, because every young family that I know is trying to develop things, trying to get things started. And I didn't look at this world over here called government. I didn't like it sometimes, didn't like government sometimes from what they handed down to you. But I don't know your answer to your question, I'll tell you that.
Well, sorry to leave you for wanting for more, but I know we're already over our time limit.
Yeah, because
I
I had
mean,
all,
this is an
because I
important
had
part.
all the
It's
answers before you
completely
cut me
fine.
off.
Okay?
It's completely fine. I think that the group can kind of steer the
Okay.
timing of the day to a degree. We
Okay.
were a little bit flexible, so.
Okay,
you know.
good.
My thing is a huge thing to unpack. I mean, and it's not just one thing. It is, you know, schools, we gotta bring back a little harder government, ethics, a lot of things that kind of, they were trailing off when I went to school. So, and then the other thing is being able to afford. So you say old white guys, don't like that term.
I don't either, but it is what's
but-
being said, so.
But you gotta be able to afford to volunteer some time, and it's really hard. Luckily enough, I've got my own business, so that affords me the ability to do so. But a lot of people, and we have housing situations where you used to be able to buy a house back in the day and 2 or 3 year salary. Now it's 10-year salary to pay for a house. I mean, there's a lot of economic factors that are pulling into this that are going to make it even harder for them to do something. And you know, we could do certain things like move things to the evenings. We could do certain things, but that still doesn't. The financial side of things is really hard for a younger person to overcome before they can even think about giving up any extra time. And it's not because they're lazy. It's they just can't afford it, and it's sometimes that's the hardest hurdle. If you could get their interest in government and ethics, that's great, but I still don't know if they could jump that hurdle without having the financial stability to do so.
But understanding the need for them to at least want to
Yeah.
be involved, whether it's sitting here and being involved in the meetings and listening so they can share with other people, or having a passion for change wherever they're at and knowing that this is the place to come to
Yeah.
start that process. I think there's not a passion to be involved, it
And-
seems. How do we get there?
And we need to educate a little bit better, because we have new tools, you know, out of everything bad about COVID, there were some good things, right? I mean, there was the online, everybody went online. Everybody started providing some other resource method, and we could send that right to the school. I just don't know if they know, you know, or, you know, so part of it is on us to go to the schools and see if there's any interest. Because we do, we're not gonna be here forever. We need one of them to step up eventually. So, yeah, it's very, I think about it a lot. I don't know, I've been fortunate to approach a few individuals to either take my place or do something when I went somewhere else, or talk to somebody else that had an issue, and I said, well, man, for the council, figure it out. And it's worked, I mean, but it is definitely a huge hurdle, and we need to grab it and take it, get it straightened out before too much time goes by.
Okay. We're ready for the break point?
Yeah, I think that'd be great,
Okay.
unless anybody has a burning question that they need answered.
I was gonna say one more thing on the resources. WSU has a huge, beneficial deal for, they call the program, you're elected, now what? And it's a very good deal to crash course you into all this, but you can take it ahead of time. And you could definitely be a little bit more informed on your campaign.
All right, well, again, thank you, commissioners, and thank you for the class for coming in. Since we burned it through our break time, we'll go right to treasurer's office, is that right?
Yep.
Fortunately, it's just right across the hall, so.
And we can probably manage a 3-minute break, some people may need to break. But, yeah,
I
we
snuck
will.
my break in.
Okay.
Last big thing is thank you for
Right.
being interested.
Yeah, thanks
So
for
we
being
are-
part of the leadership of Marion County.
So with that, I'd move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.